Hello and welcome to another Board Crazy review. This week we are doing the Lost Expedition expansion called the Fountain of Youth and Other Adventures. I am D. I am joined, as ever, by my cohorts.
I'm Graham.
Yep.
And I'm...
Cool.
Will.
So should we get into the game?
We will get into the game in a moment, Graham. Before we do that, we're going to, of course, run my intro from our gameplay video, which is going to, coming up next, there will be a time listed as a graphic. You can click to that time on the time bar thing, and that will skip right past it. Okay, take it away, me. The Fountain of Youth and Other Adventures is a collection of 4 small expansions for the Lost Expedition, a game designed by Sylvester and published by Osprey games. These editions can be used separately or together in order to make the experience more challenging or easier for the players on their journey to the Lost City of Z. One such edition is the Fountain of Youth, which simply adds a dozen new adventure cards to the deck, featuring undead conquistadors, which makes the journey to the sea far more perilous. Another expansion is called the Mark, which can turn one of the explorers into a ferocious werebeast with a focus on ammunition. Perhaps the most significant new expansion is called the Mountain, which adds a new, potentially longer route to the city, as well as the new action called Scout. This allows the players to look at the top 3 cards from the adventure deck and then either put them back on top of the deck in the order they're choosing, or discard them from the game. Finally, there is the New Friends expansion, which adds 3 companion cards to the game. At the start of each game, the players may choose one of these to accompany the explorers on their way to the city. Each companion has its own special ability. The catch is that the companion by itself may not reach the city in order to win the game. They must be accompanied by at least one explorer. Okay, so of course if you want to watch that video of us playing this expansion, you may do so. It should be linked to in the description below. We will also probably have a link to our original playthrough of just the base game of the Lost Expedition, which if you want to check that out for the very basic rules and how that plays.
And just to see us experience the core adventure.
Just to give us the views, really. We're just
Just to give us the views.
we're just greedy for views.
It's selfish.
I think before we get started with the expansion, we should probably just briefly give our thoughts on the original game so people kind of have a baseline of where we're coming from here.
Cool.
I like the Lost Expedition. I don't love the Lost Expedition. I tend to compare it to the Grizzled because it's a kind of a similar sort of experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's slightly worse than that. It's got some balancing issues, I think, that sort of and prevent me from really loving it. So I'd rather play the Grizzled, but it's a pretty good game.
I enjoyed the Lost Expedition. I don't think it had any balancing issues.
Well, fine.
I think D's just weak.
Okay.
But it's a good way of... I think there's enough strategy in there for how much luck is in this game. There's at least some strategy in it that makes me feel I'm more in control than some other very luck-based cooperative card games that we've played.
I'm a big fan of this genre, so I was a big fan of the original Lost Expedition. I think my only complaint about it was that based on the luck of the draw, the game could be too easy or too hard.
That's exactly what I just mentioned, guys.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just reiterating my point was. You said express what our points were. I was just doing what you did. I'm just following the rules that you laid down.
All right, fine.
I disagree with both of them. I think they're both weak.
All right. And the Grizzled, on the other hand, I thought skewed too hard, so I think I actually enjoy Lost Expedition more, if we're going to do that comparison.
That's why I like the Grizzled more. But that's not important right now. We're discussing the Lost Expedition. Okay, so we kind of all at least enjoy it somewhat. I think this expansion definitely makes it a better package. It's not essential. The game by itself is fine, but I think this definitely enhances things. I think the first thing I want to say is that I think the packaging of all 4 expansions you get here is the only way they could have done it, really. I think any of these individually would have been silly.
It wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not enough to either one of the expansions to really.
Yeah.
It would have felt like a microtransaction.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah.
yeah,
Like,
but
what did I do? Like a cosmetic.
Horse armor.
Yeah, I got the horse armor.
But I think as a package of all 4 together, I think it's really nice.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, because it's not super expensive, obviously. I don't know what.
No, it's going to probably run you like 15 to 25, depending on where you get it.
But it adds a lot to the game, I think. So I don't know if you guys want to just kind of go over each expansion one by one, just real quickly.
Yeah, there are 4 of them.
Yeah, the first one, the Fountain of Youth, is the Fountain is the name of the expansion.
Yes.
That's like the titular one here. I think it's the weakest of the 4. Funnily enough, it doesn't. The only addition to the game is a dozen new adventure cards, which get shuffled into the deck.
They mostly make the game harder.
They make the game a lot harder. That's generally all it does, though. There's no new mechanics. It's just new cards with 0.5 number increments so that they slot into between the other cards from the original game.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to say about it,
Yeah, I would say that the only thing that the Fountain adds is just more theme and narrative to this
It does
game.
give some theme with the conquistadors.
Yeah, it changes, like, you can go on a slightly different adventure. The end goal of the game is still to get to the lost city
you'd
of
think
Z
they'd have like
or
a Fountain of
El
Youth
Dorado
destination to get to.
Yeah,
or
that I
something,
thought, that's
but-
what I expected it to be. But the Fountain is actually just one of the cards, and it's extremely powerful. What it does is you can kill...
Yeah.
You have the option to kill one of your explorers, and you get 4 or 5 health.
4. Yeah, we made good use of it.
So it's extremely valuable. Yeah, it does come up in our playthrough. And one thing I will say is one thing I liked about Lost Expedition base game, and I also like about this, is you can almost you could role play it a bit if you wanted, because of the way the cards lay out. Like, it almost tells a narrative. Like, not necessarily that you would role play it, but you can still, like, watch as you go through the cards and imagine what these guys are going through. So this game gives you more, just provides more color.
I actually agree with that. I hadn't even thought of that, but it is. There's enough in the cards that you could have more fun with it if you want.
Yep.
It's definitely style.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
some sort of narrative.
I like it for that reason, though. Yeah, I would agree it's probably the weakest of all
Yeah.
of the new add-ons.
Next up, the Mark
The Mark.
is kind of cool.
Yes.
I was expecting it to be a little bit different than how it actually works, but I enjoy it. It adds a bit of extra strategy to the game.
Why don't you give a brief explanation of what the Mark
Well,
is?
if you haven't watched our video, what's wrong with you, first of all? But basically, the Mark has 6 cards shuffled into the deck like the Fountain cards do, but these have a special symbol on it, which is like a paw print, and then should you activate said symbol, one of your adventurers will get sort of infected with the werebeast virus, if you will. And then if you activate the symbol a second time, they become a werebeast. And doing so restores their health, but it does change their expertise from whatever they are to ammunition.
Ammunition, yeah.
Which is good and bad, but I think for the most part, these are actually... They make the game a bit easier, I would say.
Yeah, that definitely, the werebeast helped us.
The
in our
ability to
game.
regain all of the health once it
is
gets
huge.
changed it's actually really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not, like I said, there's not a ton of cards in the deck for this expansion, just the 6 of them, but I think it generally works pretty well.
I found it extremely satisfying trying to plan around the werebeast and being like, okay, we get all our health back, so let's not use this too early.
Right.
Like, I remember I got a paw print card and I actually held off to play it. Instead of in the morning, I waited to the evening because I knew during the morning, I could make sure that we took some more health off the person that was already infected.
Right.
And I liked that strategy. And then, yes, getting the health is super welcome as well. So, yeah, I really liked the Mark expansion.
Yeah. You think there'd be like more drawbacks from having one of your characters go feral, but no, not really. I mean, you lose the expertise, that's bad, but you gain another one and that kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I almost wish was there with the werebeast was...
Some sort of extra
effects or
something.
maybe the werebeast can't be the one to enter into the lost city or something like that.
Or there's one card that triggers it and it attacks one of
you.
your
Yeah, that would have been a good.
explorers.
Yeah, something like that.
It goes feral. Feral, however you want to say it.
I'll say it how it's pronounced, feral.
All right, let's shut up. Let's move on to the mountain.
These are cool. These add a new path to the lost city. It's I think 9 cards all total, or 8, and you can use or maybe more than that, considering the base camp and the peak.
There's 8 slope cards, 1 peak card, and 1 base camp
So
card.
10 new cards entirely. So it makes the journey to the city a bit more interesting. The slope cards all start face down, so you don't know exactly what you're going to be encountering on the way, and then once you get to the peak, you can finally flip everything over. But the fact that they also have effects that take place throughout the game, it's interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
This was my favorite of the...
It is probably the best.
I think it provides the most, I guess, substance to the original game.
Yeah.
Because you go through and on these new cards, exactly, they have new effects
Some are
that you
good,
can...
some are bad.
Exactly. So what I liked about it specifically is the scout feature. I thought the
Scout's cool.
Is really cool. It gives you the ability to, see some of the upcoming cards, and you get to work a little bit more strategically with those and how you want to place them and use those cards.
It's good because it makes the journey, if you're playing on the normal difficulty at least, it makes the journey to the city a little bit long, like 1 or 2 cards longer. Mm-hmm. So having that little extra help occasionally is nice.
Yeah.
I should point out, we should point out, but I'll point it out.
Okay.
That the first, or technically the second page of the new rulebook that comes with Fountain of Youth expansion explains the endurance rule, which basically means that if you run out of cards in the deck, you don't reshuffle and lose a health like you would in the base game. You just automatically lose.
Okay.
And what I like about that is how that plays with these mountain cards. Because every time you scout, you have the option to either take the top 3 cards and put them back on top in the order that you choose, or just outright discard them from the game. And that sounds like a really powerful thing. Oh, I can discard them. We don't have to face these next 3 cards if they're horrible. Yeah, but that also means you're closer to the end of the draw pile. And the more you use that scout ability to discard cards, the closer you are to running into this endurance rule problem. Yeah. So I like this endurance rule as well. It's almost like a mini, it's like 4.5 expansions with the endurance rule. It's just a rule, but still, like, it does add so much to the game.
I think it might be in the original game, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I mean, if you're playing with all of the expansions like we were, it's unlikely you will run into that problem.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of cards in the deck in that case. But yeah, I mean, it's nice that they have,
Yeah, and like they definitely thought about and how it would work in conjunction with the mountain cards, I think especially.
Yeah. And then, last but not least, we have the New Friends expansion, which just adds a few companion characters to the game, which you can...
There's no top-down.
You can use these guys, one of them per game, to assist your party of explorers. They all have their own abilities. Volcana is just super strong. These two have their own sort of
Volcana gets 5 health.
Yeah.
The dog Rinty allows you to remove... You can lose a health to remove the last card in your hiking path. And then the other one is just... He has all 3 expertises, which means he can help you anytime. What I like about the companions or the friends, I like that they don't count like in the same way your explorers do. Like you couldn't, for instance, use if you get the kill symbol, like at the Fountain of Youth, you couldn't use that to kill one of them.
Well, you can, just not Rinty.
Why not Rinty?
Rinty has that specific. He's a dog. You can't kill him like that. But again, you are right that you can't win the game with them alone. You have to have an explorer with them in order to win the game, which is wise, I think. It's better than just making them like a 4th explorer. But yeah, I like it. It's a way to make the game a little bit easier for the players, especially anyone who's maybe struggling with the game. And if you're playing with all the expansions like we were, like lunatics, then I would say they're almost necessary because it's really hard to win the game with that much going on.
Yeah, I would say some of the expansions make the game easier. Some, like the Fountain, make it a lot harder, and then the companions become much more valuable.
Yeah, but I think I'm glad they're there.
Yeah, and we should also point out that not all of these, but most of these expansions also have little caveats in here for playing by yourself, the solo rules, also the head-to-head. So if you aren't just playing cooperatively, which is the main way to play, that you could use these for the other modes as well. And we should point out that the artwork continues to be stellar in this game.
Obviously the same artist.
Garen Ewing is the artist. Yep. He's an excellent artist. Loved his artwork in the base game. I love his artwork here in the expansion. In fact, some of the expansion cards I think are just some of the coolest in the whole game. I think you just went by one, the Ghost Conquistador guy. I love that one.
Yeah. Anyway, final thoughts. I think this game this expansion, I should say, I think if you enjoy the Lost Expedition, this is definitely something you should pick up.
Yes.
If you are sort of meh on it, this might be, something that sort of pushes it over the edge for you into something you enjoy playing. It adds a lot of variety, a lot of replayability. I like the ability to mix and match all of them, I think is really cool and very easy. It's not at all like a difficult expansion to grasp. So I think it's a very good expansion. Any final thoughts from either of you?
All I would say to that is I agree with everything you just said. And also that it's not necessary. Like it's not something you have to get if you own the base game, but you won't be disappointed if you do end up acquiring it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the base game as well, so I don't think it's any surprise that I would enjoy this one. These games are so easy to play, so it's like no investment in time at all. It's just like, all right, you guys want to play this for it takes 20 minutes. So having the adding the flavor to the base game kind of really helps the replayability of the game in general. So I enjoyed it. I would play it again.
All right, scores.
Yeah, let's get to our completely arbitrary scores. There's no scoring.
Oh, you keep pointing this out, guys.
No rubric.
We know it's not true.
D, you do thumbs, right?
Nope. No. I do stars. I gave the original game by itself 3.5 out of 5. I'm going to give this a 4.
Are you saying that it raises the original game to a 4, or this expansion by itself is a 4?
Yes. It's hard to grade the expansion just by itself, and including it as part of the greater Lost Expedition whole. I would say it's a 4-star product.
I mean, yeah, I enjoy this game. I don't see any reason to not give it 2 thumbs up. It's fun. If you definitely like this kind of game, you'll enjoy the Lost Expedition and the Fountain of Youth expansion. So I'll give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I think. Well, I do letter grades, by the way. We all have a different scoring system. I would just give the Lost Expedition experience on a whole an A-.
Wow.
I love this genre of game though, so I would admit a bias. Again, these scores are kind of arbitrary too, but yeah, I like it. It's a great I like it, and I love the Grizzled as well. They're both great games, but I think I like this one a little bit more.
Ooh.
But for now,
that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Leave us any thoughts you have on the game or our reviews. We'd love to hear them.
I think you could be better. Oh, sorry, you're talking to the audience.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep, talk to the audience. If you agree with me and I could be better, let me know.
Yeah.
And I'll cry. Please visit our social media links. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all linked to below if you want to check out what's going on with us. You can follow those there. So that's it for now. Please come back this Friday when we are heading east a little bit, and we'll see you then. Toodaloo.
Where are we going, Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh.
Trenton.
Sweet. See you guys in Trenton. Bye.
bye.